Hello, my name's Mike Cuttle Jr. I'm the Farm Bill Coordinator for the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. The Farm Bill is the largest source of funding for conservation on private lands in America, and it also provides a lot of benefits for fish and wildlife conservation on private lands. So one of the benefits of Farm Bill conservation programs is they are entirely voluntary and incentive based. So a landowner participates of their own free will. They enroll in these programs because they want to do good things for fish and wildlife conservation. Farm Bill conservation programs provide a variety of opportunities for landowners to provide benefits for pretty much any type of fish or wildlife that we have here in Washington. Anywhere from pollinators and beneficial insects to amphibians and reptiles, fish, migratory birds, raptors, upland game birds, and big game as well. So anything that you're interested in can be handled through a Farm Bill conservation program. The Farm Bill funding can provide both technical assistance so that they can have somebody who's qualified come out and help them develop a conservation plan and get that plan implemented on the ground. Some of the programs also provide cost share to install conservation practices, and some of the programs have an annual rental payment so they can get some income off land enrolled in the programs as well. So the Farm Bill has lots of different program options available. Probably the one most people have heard of is the Conservation Reserve Program, or CRP. That is a program that encourages producers to take land out of agricultural production for a 10 to 15 year period and plant perennial vegetation so that they can reduce soil and water erosion, thereby improving water quality and air quality, as well as providing wildlife habitat benefits. But in Washington in particular, there's an initiative under CRP called the State Acres for Wildlife Enhancement Program, or SAFE. And our staff play a crucial role in that in Washington. We have about 98,000 acres of farmland enrolled in SAFE right now. It's providing a lot of high quality wildlife habitat, particularly in central Washington, where we have some declining sage grouse and sharp-tailed grouse populations. One of the other facets of Farm Bill programs are what they call working lands programs. The Environmental Quality Incentives Program is an example of that, or EQIP, and it can provide cost share to implement all kinds of conservation practices, from aquatic species habitat restoration to upland wildlife to manure storage on a dairy farm. It can really cover the whole gamut of any type of assistance that a producer would need. There's also the Conservation Stewardship Program, which basically goes above and beyond EQIP. So if a producer has already implemented a lot of good conservation on their property, they're then eligible for CSP. And when they enroll, they agree to implement what are called enhancements on their property, and then they receive a payment for those enhancements. One of the very unique programs that the Natural Resources Conservation Service offers under the Farm Bill is the Voluntary Public Access and Habitat Incentive Program. And that is directed specifically to state fish and wildlife agencies or tribes so that they can take some of the funding from the Farm Bill and improve public access on private lands. You can also use some of that funding to enhance the wildlife habitat value on the sites that are enrolled. And VAHIP has been very important to our access program here in Washington. We have successfully applied and received 2 grants through VAHIP, and it's critically important that this program continue here in Washington as well as nationwide. So the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife has a team of private lands biologists. We have biologists statewide. The majority of our private lands team, however, is east of the Cascade Mountains because that's where most of the agriculture takes place. But those staff play a very unique role. They can come out to your operation, whether you're a farmer, a rancher, a small forest landowner, or an Indian tribe, and they can provide you technical assistance to participate in Farm Bill conservation programs. The Department of Fish and Wildlife doesn't do this work alone. We have a lot of partners that we work with, including multiple non-governmental organizations such as Pheasants Forever, Ducks Unlimited, National Wild Turkey Federation, and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation are a few examples. We also work closely with the State Conservation Commission and the conservation districts at the county levels, as well as at times with other sister state agencies such as the Department of Ecology. And most importantly though are the two United States Department of Agriculture agencies, the Natural Resources Conservation Service and the Farm Service Agency. They are the ones who actually provide the funding for these programs. We need them to continue to be there to provide these Farm Bill conservation opportunities, and we look forward to partnering with the private landowners, the NGOs, and USDA on future work.